G'day and welcome to my garage.
G'day and welcome to my garage. I'm Peter. We're just finishing off a piece of the one of the many parts of the dividing head. In this episode of the dividing head, I think we're at part 6. We'll be bringing the two halves, the two frames together, and machining the top, and then machining the feet, the base. It's all done on the faceplate on the mini lathe. When these two pieces are brought together, it becomes a rather large object, and I struggle a little bit. I overcome, of course. I have to machine the outer edges of the dividing head so that I can get it to swing on the lathe. I only end up with about 1.5 millimeters clearance. It was a lot more than what I started off with, which was nothing, was interference. That was about a 15th hour cut. Alright, you don't need to see any more, and you're also in the way. You will shortly see what I'm up to. Right, that's 20 mil deep. That last job where I was drilling the hole into the bolt, I cut it off. It's a through hole. The reason I'm doing it is the faceplate uses 6mm hardware, and these are 11mm slots. So I'm just making up the collars just to tighten it up a little bit, but I've still got a little bit of play in there, but nowhere near as much as I would have if bright spark. Do that again. Should have told me. You were watching me. You didn't say anything. That's all it's for. Now these slots are in line with the shaft. Gingery doesn't have this bolt in at this stage. But I do. Alright, leave this with me to centre up. Hope this fits. Okay, like I said, leave it with me and I'll centre all this up. It clears to that frame, so that frame clears, but this frame doesn't. This frame is 2mm wider than that one, so I'll take 2mm off there, and I may have to chamfer off, well, at least one plate. If I do one plate, I'll do the other plate to make it look symmetrical. So I could hand file that, but hey, I've got a milling machine. So I'll take 2mm off there, bring it back, try it. If it doesn't work, and it probably won't work, I've put this on CAD, and I do have to, I'll do it while it's off. I will chamfer at least half this off. Yeah, leave that with me. I'll put it over on the mill and set it up to take that 2mm, and we'll see how we go from there. Well, I've taken the 2mm off this, and I've been chamfering it. The angle of the chamfer, I had this drawn up. I had this drawn up anyhow. So that's the chamfer there. I've just printed it off, copied that angle, and then set that up on the milling machine to get that angle. So I've done one, I've got 3 more to go. Let's do that. I'll see you over at the milling machine next. Biggest problem I have now is you're in the way, but mainly I can't see anything because the edge that I want left is on the back side, but that's okay. that's getting awfully close. Going to have to move you out of the way, buddy. That's it. So I've just got to, I can file that off, but I need to take a step down with the spindle and clean that bottom end off. Leave that with me. I'm over at the lathe with this thing. I've mounted it, and those chamfers have made a big difference. So the reason we're back at the faceplate is to pull these two halves down even, because the bases may not be true flat or perpendicular to the faces of the two halves. So that's pulled down nice and firm to the faceplate. Remembering Gingery doesn't have a centre bolt, I wanted the holes to be in the centre of the boss, and to make sure I drilled some holes in there. So I'm using a centre bolt to hold it. As you can see, I've already got one bolt in, because this is the time to mark out where the three spreader leg bolts are going to be drilled through this, I can't remember what frame it is now. So that one's done, I've just got to do the two bottom ones. So, and the reason I'm not using a drill is because I can't get the chuck past the feet. So that's got those two marked. I can now drill and tap this plate, because that's without the spreaders, and the spreaders themselves can now be tapped 6mm or quarter if you're in Americas. Let me continue on. So now I'll take the cap screw out, and I'll take this over to the drill press and drill and tap. I'll see you back here. We're back at the lathe again. I've remounted it. The spreader screws are in place. The purpose now is to put a flat on the top here, so that when we, so that I can later, after this operation, flip it over. First it has to have two holes, threaded holes put in here, so that when I flip it over, I can bolt it to the faceplate and face off the feet. That's the whole purpose of this operation. Just a little bit further. Not much. I'll take another 20th hour cut and then hit it with a 5 to clean it up. So I shall dismount this, drill the 2 holes and tap them, and meet you back at this faceplate. Try that again. I had to retire the other camera and put it on charge. Battery went flat and I lost some footage and missed out on some cursing because this rotten thing, you can see a step just there. I was machining away and the problem with a power feed, i.e. a cordless drill, is you can't feel what's happening until it's far too late. And I ended up, for some reason, I didn't lock the carriage. The carriage was unlocked and I'm doing a face cut. And normally when I do a face cut, it pushes the carriage away. But for some reason, this actually pulled the carriage deeper in, and I did a 1.4mm gouge in this edge. It's hard to get lighting right with aluminium. It's terrible. So I didn't really want to lose 1.5mm of the base. It will still be thick enough, and the offset from the table is still a little bit more than what Gingery makes it. His was 2.25. That's 57mm. I'll end up with about 59. Alright, 5, 10, 15, 20 is 0.5mm. Back that out again. Try this again. We'll do it 1/4 mil. So I've just got a fine tooth-out cut on this, just to help it get a nice finish. And I'm doing it by hand so I can get the feel for it. Just a very light whisk. When I'm finished here, I'll still have a bit of a gouge in it, but it won't make any difference to its operation, that's for sure. And the gouge won't look too bad. Anyhow, you only notice it if you pick it up and turn it upside down or on its side. A 59mm offset from the base to the centre line of the spindle. Gingery recommended a 2.25 inch, and I think that was 57mm. So I'm still within what he recommended. It's all arbitrary anyhow. If the gear being cut or whatever you've got on the spindle that you're turning, indexing is too tall, then you've got to block the whole thing up anyhow. That's the gouge. And it's starting to come, you can hear it. Something about these mini lathes, you've got to be careful of them. And there's no weight in any of the components. So that's a beautiful finish. So I've got a gouge there, a little bit there and a little bit there. So that's it, that's machined. I don't know what's up next. I think, well, obviously I've got the stuff on the inside to make. That's probably up next. And the spindle lock and spindle hub. Yeah, there's still a lot of work to go. Alright, we'll see you on the next, when I start it up again.